welcome back to Guitar Vocalist. The channel is all about singing and playing guitar at the same time and just having a total all-in-one performance. So if you're new here, you like what you see, be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons. It's a great easy way to support the channel and help me grow. Now today's topic is, so you buy a new guitar, now what, right? So this is like, you want to learn guitar, you picked up a guitar and you're like, what do I do? Like, well, what are the next steps, right? You might have been playing, you know, you might have been doing some random stuff. You might have noticed that when you press on these things called frets, something happens, right? Like different sounds get made, but you don't actually know where to start. What do you do? So that's what this video is about. Like, if you just bought a guitar, this is the perfect time to watch this. Before we begin, go ahead and like post in the comments, like, what is your biggest struggle? If you're watching this and you just bought a guitar, like, what is your biggest question, the biggest thing that's basically giving you trouble? And yeah, maybe I can respond and help you out. But with that being said, the very first thing I would do is just learn about how to use it, right? I mean, learn how to hold it, learn how to restring the guitar, you know, learn what kind of strings you typically want, and also learn how to tune it, right? So you need like a tuner maybe, or you can use reference tones online on a YouTube video. Like, you can look up a YouTube video for tuning your guitar, and yeah, just basically learn all that stuff. But let's say you've got your like the logistics figured out, but now it's like, I want to play, what do I do? And yeah, it's really, there's two things that are really big to start on. First, you got to figure out what kind of style are you playing, and with are you finger picking or are you using your pick, right? I primarily play with a pick, but different people have different preferences, and there's many different ways to do it, right? Like, you could play a song like this, right, where it's just and stuff like that, right? And here you're using your thumb to play the thicker strings, and you're using your three fingers to play the thinner strings, and it's basically, it's a different style. It's like more a classical guitar style, right? So in this example, I'm just using my thumb like this, but I could play those same chords and that same stuff with a pick, right? So I could just do, and it's both work, right? But one way it sounds a bit kind of softer and gentler, and you can also do stuff that's like, you could do stuff like that. And then with a pick, if you were to play the same chord, you would be, so with picks you can do a lot of rhythmic things like, right? But with this, you would be doing more gentler melodies. But you also can do, I just basically played like a weird version of Stairway to Heaven, but I just want to show you that for the most part, you're doing stuff that involves kind of melodic things with fingerstyle. So consider that. So the first thing you got to figure out is two things. You got to figure out chords, and you got to figure out scales. A lot of people don't like chords when they start out because it's complex and they just want to play on one string, so they just do stuff like. The problem with this is that it's important to have like a total full rounded sound, and chords are super important to music theory. So actually, chords, in my opinion, are the best place to start. And you can learn this thing called open guitar chords, right? Where you have the thing about open guitar chords, the concept of that is that they're all played over here, basically. They involve a lot of open strings, so they're easy shapes with your finger, and it's just the absolute easiest way to play guitar. You just pick up these chords. Those chords I just played are like 5,000 songs with those chords, you know? Popular songs exist with those chords. So it's like, you could just only use E, A, it's A minor, C, G, D, and just within those you have essentially like so many songs, right? And another way you can think about chords, you can learn power chords. So power chords have kind of always this exact shape. And they're called power chords because you can play them everywhere with the exact same shape, so you always know it works. So you can just play every rhythm. And actually in power chords, you can combine them with open chords, right? So you can do... You could do it either version, the power chord version or the open chord version. So power chords and open guitar chords are the two places I'd start with chords. And with playing on one string with scales and things like that, I would just start with major and minor scales. And what that means is just literally learn how to play the different strings. You can start with E is what I would start with, because guitar is tuned with E. And I would just, this is E minor, for example, and I would just start like this. And I will always alternate pick, so that means pick down and then do an upstroke, alternating every time. Because if you just do, and you always do a downstroke, it's a lot harder on your picking. It's a lot smoother if you can alternate, because you can go faster, right? Instead of doing, I can't even do it, right? Like, it's hard, but if you do it with alternate picking, it's easy. And you could also alternate pick chords, by the way. You can do stuff like this. Stroking up and down. Another thing I would start doing is I would start to go online and looking up tabs to your favorite songs. So the best way to learn is not just with theory like this. Basically in this video I covered enough theory to start with tabs, honestly. So I think that after you've looked up some open guitar chords and looked up some power chords and you know how to play E minor, right, or E major, you know how to play a scale, I think that the next thing you should do is just look at the tabs of some songs that you like, and you could go on sites like ultimateguitar.com and yeah, just look up some tabs and just, it'll show you, learn how to read it. It shows you what frets to press, and you can listen alongside the song and be like, okay, so these are the frets pressed and this is the song and here we go, right? And then I would just say pick up a tab of a simple song and just keep moving to more complex as you go. And that's really your progression as a guitarist. Another good thing for you to do is make a list, like a file on your computer or something. And anytime you reach a term that you've never heard before, like arpeggio, right? Or scale, or chord, or key, or relative minor, or something like that, write down that term and then tell yourself to go and look it up. You know, and just go on a kind of keyword trip like that, so you can form a map and you can find out like, okay, so he said to learn scales, okay, but that's in this key. What's a scale? What's a key? Okay, but keys are made up of notes. What are notes actually? Oh, they're just different frequencies on the spectrum and they repeat in something called octaves. What are octaves, right? So just go on this little trip and make this map for you, and then you'll just be organized. And as you're just learning your favorite songs and tabs, because that way you're not being bored, right? You're learning songs you want to learn, and then while you're learning them, you're actually learning music theory at the same time. So I would just start doing that at the same time. So to recap, the 5 ways for you to start after you buy the guitar is 1, take care of logistics and stuff, so just learn how to tune it, learn how to restring it, everything. 2, learn stuff such as are you going to use a pick, fingerstyle, what kind of sort of genre are you trying to play, and how are you going to play your guitar. 3, figure out stuff like chords and scales. What are they? Things like open guitar chords, power chords. 5, look at tabs. And then a bonus 6th one, just write down every term you don't know so that you can find out music theory, and you can learn it while you're having fun learning your songs. So that's what I would do if I just bought a guitar, and that's my advice to you. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, and be sure to like and subscribe if you like what you saw. And be sure to let me know if you don't like what you saw. And until next time, guys.